What's going on, guys? Nathan with Technology Smash, back with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video on something different that I've kind of wanted to do for a long time. So this is something that has affected me for a good amount of time, and it might be you if you are also clicking on this video based on the title and information. So smartphones have become very popular in the past several years. We're getting to the point where innovation is taking form in the place of just, new cameras and the way that they can make things bezel-less. But smartphones have sort of topped out, right? So they all can do the same basic functions. Even the cheapest of phones usually can do GPS mapping and social media and things like that and play some games. They've become a huge part of our society, and everywhere that you can see in developed places around the world, and anywhere you go, you see people on their phones. All you have to do is be somewhere sort of boring, I guess, and you'll see it. People standing in line, people riding public transportation, people in restaurants that are eating alone, and sometimes even with friends too, all the time. Actually, you see it. So I just wanted to go over some tips that I've taken and that I'm trying to instill in myself on how to stop using my phone so much and taking away from my real life. So before I get to the tips on how, I've looked up and kind of gone over a few of the things that might give you an indication that you are addicted as well, or that you have an issue with your smartphone in general. So this will be from a list that I found online that a lot of these are everywhere. So I'll link this article below, but a few of the things. So you can't sleep. This affects your sleep cycle when you go to bed and you're on your phone right before bed, which a lot of us are. We keep it right next to our bed. It charges next to our bed. You get on your phone to get sleepy when really it's doing the opposite effects. Blue light affects you tremendously when you are trying to rest, and it gives you restless sleep. You might sleep, but you're not getting restful sleep as you should be. Anxiety. This is another big one that you will see. All these, I'm not going to explain each one. I'll link the article below, like I said, but these are just to give you an idea. If you've been having these symptoms more often, and it seems like it's been since you've gotten a smartphone, then it could be, time to look internally on trying to use it less. You're stressed out by social media. You can't stand still without checking your phone. That's a lot of us. You are having trouble concentrating. You lose time. You are always distracted. You can't stop checking in. You text more than talk. You mindlessly scroll. So that's a big one. You just open your phone to Instagram and just start scrolling. And before you know it, you've been on for 30 minutes or an hour and you've done nothing. It's not productive. You're not doing anything. It's very detrimental. And I am super guilty of that. You feel phantom vibrations. That's me too. I even feel them on my wrist if my watch isn't on. So you feel it vibrate when it's not there. You text while driving, super dangerous. You have physical discomfort. That is me to a T. My upper back and neck hurt almost all the time now. I'm also working to correct those, definitely from being on my phone and computer. You can't leave home without it. That's me. You're wasting too much time. Absolutely. You feel lonely without it. I don't feel that as much. I feel less lonely when I'm not using it a bunch. You never eat alone, meaning you sit down with dinner for friends and the first thing you do is put your phone down so you can keep an eye on it, which is super annoying for the people you're around. Your relationship is suffering. You act impulsively and you just can't quit. So those are some of the symptoms and the reasons that point to you probably having some kind of smartphone addiction. So I'm going to go over 5 tips that might help you. You've probably seen these other places if you've researched this, or maybe you haven't, and that this can be somewhat helpful for you. So let's go over those now. If I can, hold on one second. Drop my stuff. All right. First thing that I found that helps. So apps. This sounds counterintuitive because you're using your phone to do it, but I have an app called Forest. That is one of the main ones that I use. I put this stuff in my health category because less smartphone time is going to make you feel better for a lot of reasons. So here's Forest. So the point of forest is to stop using your phone. So what you do is you plant plants based on a time scale. So you can do 10 minutes, 15, 25, in increments of 5 all the way up to 2 hours. So what this does, you would hit plant, and then you are not supposed to use your phone in this amount of time. So what would happen is it's still, the plant is still growing. If I get out of the app, it basically says, go back or your plant will die. So if you do it for too long, the plant will die. And the whole point is just to create your own forest. So I'm going to give up on that so I can show you. So you create a forest, and the more time you do, you unlock these little tokens, and you use the tokens to buy different kinds of plants and things like that. It's not like a pay per use app. It's not like in-app purchases. The app does cost money, but I found that it's well worth the few bucks that it was. You can check in on your forest, and it will show you, all the plants that you've planted, and it'll tell you by the day how productive you were. So if you did something if you planted a plant for 2 hours, it would say that you were productive for 2 hours today. So I highly recommend that app. There's other ones out there. That one's cool because it kind of gamifies it and gives you medals and tokens and things like that to show you how productive you were. Number 2, and this is one that I have gotten that I purchased a long time ago, use a burner phone. So this is that new Nokia 3310. I believe that's the number. I'm probably wrong, and I'll hear about it. This phone does none of that functionality, basically. So what I did was got a prepaid plan it's not even monthly. It's $10 for up to 90 days, so it's almost nothing. Calls and texts, basically, that's it. It's on H2O Wireless, which is the name, and you can go to Target, Walmart, and they sell a SIM card that you go online and activate. Just be careful because the main plan that it comes with puts you at like a 2 gig plan that's like $30 a month or something like that, and you can't downgrade once you get it. So you buy the SIM card for like 99 cents at the store and just sign up for one of the cheapest plans that they have. You can bring this out of the house with you now because it has service. You don't have to be worried if you're stuck somewhere because you can call and text from this, and you can have a separate phone number that doesn't interfere with something like iMessage. Now, if you have an Android phone, it would be a lot easier. You don't need another plan. You can just take out your SIM card and put it in the other phone. But with iMessage, if you are aware, it just doesn't really switch over like it's supposed to, and you'll miss a lot of text messages. So highly recommend using just a cheap, basic phone that can do calls and texts. It has stuff like Facebook and games and stuff, but I don't have any data, so they don't work, which is perfect for me. So this way you can know that you're sort of safe if you're worried about just not having a phone. And that's kind of it. Number 3, this is a big issue that happens to all of us, I think, and I think this is part of the biggest reason why we are always on our phones. It's called FOMO, F-O-M-O, fear of missing out. So you're just constantly worried like, okay, there's a group chat going on and I'm going to miss my input, or I'm going to miss talking about whatever they're talking about. It's hard, but you have to get to that mindset that it's not that important. If you think about it, like the mindless scrolling, why are you doing it? It's sort of, it just takes you out of your real life and kind of puts you into this digital reality that it's there and it's with friends and things like that, but it's not the same. You're ignoring those around you, and you're actually becoming more isolated and lonely. They've done tons of studies recently because of how, addicted everybody has become to their phones and devices. And the more you're on your services and social media and just your phone in general, the more lonely you become. So think about yourself. Have you become more distant from people? Has social anxiety hit you harder like it has for me? It's probably because you've taken yourself out of real life situations to put yourself in these situations, which is not good. Number 4, grayscale. So another big tip I've always seen is you can put your phone into a grayscale mode. So our phones are designed to have us wanting to pick them up and use them as much as possible. So they know the scrolling and touching and colors and vibrancy all add to the addiction. They make you do it more often. So on iPhone, and I'm sure there's other ways on Android, you can go into general, you can go into accessibility. I have to remember exactly. Display accommodations, color filters and then turn it on. So what this does, and at the bottom there you can see it has grayscale, and there's other scales that you can do it in. This is grayscale. So now the screen is completely a black and white. It's a lot less appealing. It's not very fun to look at for a long time. And this can be a way for you to stop seeing it as something shiny and nice. Instead, you see it as a utility, which is what it should be. This is a utility. This is something that you should use for mapping, and you can use for music. Now, everybody's different. I'm not telling anybody what they should be doing, but we've turned these more into just for social media and just for communication than what they're made for, which is to have utilities with you. You know, you can send some emails and things like that. You can map places. You can save passwords. You can shop online and find deals. You can get rewards through food places. You can, control your air conditioner. You can control your security system. This, to me, when I do this, it makes it more of a tool because it's visually a lot less appealing. This is not that fun to look at, especially for a long amount of time. I mean, look at the difference, the vibrancy, and then it just goes to nothing. This is very helpful, and this one is a good tip that I recommend if you just have to have the phone and you don't want to do some of the other ones. Last one, the most drastic measure you could take: get rid of it. You can just completely get rid of your phone, go back to having something like this. I promise you that once you stop using it for a little while, you will get used to it. There's been times, like when we recently moved about a year ago, we didn't have internet at the house, and you get used to it. And I do every time. I feel happier that I have it less, that I'm using it less, the internet is not around. We live in an amazing age where technology is so prevalent in everything we do, and going online is such a privilege. There's so much we can do. There's some people who have no access to the things that the rest of us have, and we should be grateful for that. But I think that we overuse it, and I think that every part of our lives now is wrapped around our smartphones and going online. Just know that social media is not everything, and the things you're seeing from people are the best parts of their life. And I guarantee you that they're not as exciting and happy as you see online. There's plenty of articles and just pictures exposing people that are influencers or things like that, where they go through all this trouble just to set up the perfect picture, and it's not even really what's going on. They take the photo and then they're done, and they're not actually having that awesome meal, or they're not actually having fun in that awesome place. They're just, it's all for show, and it's all to look better. So, I hope some of you take this and use some of the advice. Again, you can do whatever you want, but if you look internally and you feel like a lot of those problems have become your problems recently, and you think, I have been spending a lot of time on my phone or on the internet, maybe it's time, to take a look at options on getting you out of that. I'm the same way. It's very hard to stop using it. It's very hard. Every time I'm in a situation where it's kind of boring or you don't really know what to do, you pull your phone out. And I think that's just true for a lot of us. You got to break the habit. So feel free to leave any questions, comments down below. I'll try to reach out and, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. I hope this helps some of you out. So I'll talk to you guys next time. Later.